Yo, what's good, YouTube? Dark Black Crow here with another video, and today's video is going to be about conversations with God, like prayer pretty much, but I'll go on a different video about prayer, but this is about conversations. So, what I do, what I just got done doing is having the best conversation of my life with God, and I was just praying for things, that I may not need, but want. Something in my dread. It's like blue. It's like a fuzzy. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Sorry. It's like hair. Like pulling the dread out. Anyway, I don't know what that is going on with that. But anyway, so I just had a great conversation with God and Jesus. So I was having a conversation about, and one thing I want to point out is, Jesus may not be God the way people say that he is, because I feel like he may be the Son. And what I mean by that is I've read some Bible verses, what I ran across on YouTube, and it was saying about how like Jesus is like more of like the Son than the Father, He's not the Father of the heavens, but he's the Son of God, just like us. So Jesus is just like us pretty much, if you want to get it, if you want to get that from that, But getting back to what I was saying, right? So, which I just thought that was very interesting, because I was like, dang, people always saying Jesus is God, but I feel like, that's where I have to like come in and swoop in, and I have to tell them the truth, and tell them my own truth, because I'm never going to fault somebody for what they believe in, because people believe in what they believe in, and I'm not going to stop people from believing in what they believe in, of course, but I'm just going to point them in the right direction of what I feel, and maybe give them some insight on, what I know. So I feel like, Jesus is more of the Son than the Father, but that's a topic for another day. I just wanted to say that because I forgot what it said in the Bible verse, but it says something. Hold on 1 second, if I can think of it. Yeah, I'm sorry. It says something like, I forgot. Anyway, yeah, that's a topic for another day. So getting back to what I was saying. So conversations with God, right? So, or Jesus, and Jesus, both, or one, who knows? Yeah. Anyway, so I was having a conversation, and I was talking about, like things like my future kids, my future wife, and just having a good life, because I feel like I've been so freaked out by the things that have been going on in my life, which just hasn't been the most precious thing, but I feel like it's something that I need to grow and prosper. But I was just having a conversation about just a whole bunch of different things, and I was talking to God and Jesus, and I was just praying for a lot of things, but at the same time I was conversating with them. And it felt so good to let all that out, because I'm not gonna lie, in heaven, I feel like I'm going to be the most talkative, most outgoing, most loving and caring being and soul that there is, because I just feel like that's in my heart of hearts, But on earth, I feel like I should stick to myself, the way I've been feeling. I feel like I should stick to myself, have conversations here and there, but only if they're prospering or whatever. And besides that, just stay out the way and do my own thing, But I would love to, but I just don't feel like people talk about the things that are important, And I'm not trying to bash anybody or anything like that. It's just, we talk, but it's just, is it really worth it, And people like talk out their minds, man. A lot of people talk crazy, especially in the state I'm at, which I'm out of state right now. And it's just been crazy talk, man. Like, like, what the heck are you talking about, man? But getting back to what I was saying. So, I just feel like that conversation went really well, and it was more of me talking to God and Jesus, like they were like a brother to me, because, or a mother, because I feel like if God was a girl, then she would be more of a mother figure to me. But, even though we could be good friends, but I feel like Jesus is more of like a brother to me, I feel like I stand in like the highs of the heaven, I feel like I have a special part. And a belief that I used to have is that I am, and I'm not scared to say it, that I am the Egyptian god Anubis. And, with that being said, you may think I'm crazy or whatever you want to call that, but I feel like, it still stands. Either way, I rock with Anubis heavy, the little chain I got. I'm not wearing it right now, and I haven't worn it in it. I don't think I've worn it in a couple videos, but I just want to take a rest from it, wear it throughout the day and then let it rest up during the night, or when I get back home or whatever. But I just feel like that conversation went, getting back to Anubis, I feel like, we have some deep connections, that is the real thing, because I feel like they're real, And I just, I love Anubis, man. Anubis is like, man, I don't have a favorite god because I love all of them, but man, Anubis is like, man, that man is just perfect. I love him so much, and I just can't get him out of my heart, man. I'll never get him out of my heart. But getting back to the conversation with God, I'll talk about that another day as well. So I was just talking and conversating, about different things, and it felt so good to let that off my chest, and just have a real conversation with somebody that I can actually talk to about anything, And I feel like they're so understanding, because I feel like I was like not really hearing voices in my head or anything. Like, I'm not crazy or nothing like that, and I don't, believe in that kind of crazy stuff because I'm working on myself right now, But I feel like it was just like signs and messages, And I just texted somebody about like, forgiveness, about forgiveness that, and I may have said this yesterday, but forgiveness about like what I've done in the past. And they said, God, Jesus died on the cross for us so we can be actually, forgiven. And I feel like that is a real thing, Jesus did a lot for us, and I really appreciate Jesus for all that he did, but, it's just when I was having that conversation, a lot of things popped into my head, a lot of misery, a lot of doubt, but at the same time, a lot of positive things, because I could talk about anything with God or Jesus, and it's just so powerful to the point, like I feel like they're listening to me, and I feel like my voice is heard, and that's the most almighty thing ever, because God and Jesus are the most important people to me in my life. And I have a lot of important people in my life, but at the same time, I'm not saying they're more important, because I feel like we're all important in the same way, even God and Jesus. I feel like we're all important in the same way, even if you have God number one, because I have God number one in my life, or Jesus. But I just feel like that conversation helped me out so much, man, for them to listen to me and just give me signs and messages that I'm actually doing the right things, because I feel like I am doing the right things, even though things aren't going my way, And I wish things were going better, but at the same time, it just takes time and patience, And for me to have that conversation, it was kind of like tear dropping, like tears actually dropping from my eyes, even though tears didn't. I'm not going to lie to you, but, I just feel like, sorry. Anyway, I just feel like having that conversation helped me out so much, and it just made me feel so much better, And for me to be able to talk about anything that's on my mind, which I know people are listening to me, especially spirits, that is like the most powerful thing ever, man. Because, I feel like I am being forgiven for all the things that I've done. Ever since I've opened up Jesus in my life, I feel like things have been taking a different turn, man. I feel like everything's been going the right way. I'm more stable. I feel like I'm more on top of the world and everything like that. And I just have to put in the work, but I am putting in the work slowly but surely. But, it was just so powerful talking to God. And I encourage you to do the same thing, If you have no one to talk to, just talk to God or Jesus, And they're spirits. So it's like contacting a spirit, But it's just so powerful to the point, like, to where, you can just say anything, man, and they will listen to you. And that is so powerful, and I'm so grateful for that, because a lot of these conversations I can't have with other people, because they'll probably call me crazy, or they won't understand, and I'll get sent away, But I feel like, by having that conversation to myself, that really helped me out, man. And sometimes I just need that little getaway, with God and Jesus, because they're the ones that do everything for us, And even though we do a lot for ourselves, at the same time, they're our creators. And for them to just open up their ears and just listen to me just felt so good. And like I said, tear dropping, man. Like, I just couldn't get that off my mind, man. I had to get all that off my mind, because it was just sitting heavy on me, because the future is just so bright for me. But I just got to understand that, and I got to understand their love for me, and, the fact that they're just maybe pushing me around, nothing shoving me around, but at the same time, it's all through love, man. But besides that, that's in the video. And one thing I want to preach to you is listen to the word of God and Jesus, man. Even if you don't read your Bible, just listen to what they tell you on a day-to-day basis. Because, like I said, the way Jesus opened up in my heart, I opened up Jesus in my heart is by other people. Like, people kept telling me about Jesus and God and Jesus and God, Jesus and God. And, it's just been a really jaw-dropping experience, because, it just makes you feel so much better hearing about that kind of stuff. And for people to actually care about God and Jesus just means so much to me, man. But anyway, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, almost 10, angel numbers. But anyway, so besides that, Dark by Corral, Peace on positive, all y'all. I'll catch you later. Love y'all. Family. Love y'all, family.